We have a quorum present. I will call the meeting to order. And the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the November 10th, 2021 meeting. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes?
Yep. Yes.
Oh, I see Mary Beth joining us. Good evening, Mary Beth. We're just getting to the approval of the minutes. Are there any additions, amendments, revisions to the minutes? Trustee Macy Phelps.
Yeah, Paul, Jessica already took care of it, but one item that I had asked her to clarify was on the timetable for the creation of the strategic plan, just to differentiate that the plan itself is a 3-year plan and we expect it to take around 6 months to create the plan.
Okay.
Good point.
Thank you. Yes, Trustee Ryan.
I'm just curious. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
When they say, first they say it's a 3-year, then they say it's 3 to 5. Basically, it's a 3-year plan, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Has
you
any
had a
other
choice? Then we chose 3.
Any other revisions, proposals, additions to the minutes? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes of the November 10th meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Macy Phelps. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Ryan. We'll call the roll. Trustee Macy Phelps.
Aye.
Trustee Van Au.
Aye.
Trustee Cole.
Aye.
Trustee Ryan.
Aye.
Trustee Persons. And the chair also votes in the affirmative. The minutes are unanimously adopted. The next item on the agenda is the director's report. And as usual, the report is accepted as submitted, but we always afford our director, Lizzie McGovern, an opportunity to highlight and take any questions from the trustees about the report. So Lizzie.
Thank you. We've been welcoming back patrons. It's been a busy month. It's as we went to December, it's been a little slower, but it was nice to see a lot of faces back and happy to use the library again. Story times registrations have been full. We've moved indoors without any incident. Most people, even before we'll talk about the COVID-19 in a second, but even before masks were required, when we were encouraging, most families were happy to wear masks to be able to still do story times and have them indoors. So that's been great. Tonight, we actually have Ted Reinstein's on right now, and he's a first truly hybrid program because he's in person. And I think we have about 20 people in the library signed up for that and like 20 people on Zoom. So we'll see how that goes. So that's exciting. So we're still managing this balance. And then Hoopla, we had adjusted our Hoopla checkouts earlier in the fall to, make sure they're keeping an eye on our digital budget. And as we move into the winter, and since, as people might hibernate more and not feel as comfortable going out with things changing, we moved it up to 20 checkouts per patron a month.
Yeah.
So I think people will be excited about that because we did hear a couple of people calling saying something's wrong with my Hoopla when we had took it down. Yeah. So now we can put it back up again for as long as we can. And then the other thing that I wanted to highlight, which we're going to talk more about, I think at the next meeting, is the collection development policy, to start reviewing that. I did attach our current one that is, as far as I know, has been last updated in 1997. And so for the next meeting, hopefully I'll have some edits and some suggestions that I would like you guys all to review. And so other than that, do you have any questions about anything specifically?
Any questions or comments on the director's report? Seeing none. Thank you, Lizzie.
Thank you.
The next item of the agenda is the monthly COVID-19 update.
Well, I have more of an update than last time, unfortunately. Yeah. So I had a meeting with Chris Coleman, Joan, Courtney Murray, and Jared Orsini, who's the director of the Board of Health, as well as Lena from the COA, Rich from Recreation, and Danielle from Youth and Family Services, and to discuss there's been an uptick in cases in Westwood. So the library, under the direction of the town, has always stated that we're doing with what the state has mandated or suggested, as well as Westwood's particular numbers. So over the course from Thanksgiving to, I mean, I don't have the current numbers, but to 2 weeks ago, we had got up to 4.3%, I think, COVID numbers. And I think 5% was at least, or from the very beginning, was when we were going to definitely pull back as a town. And so I think the first course of action from the town and from Chris was a discussion of the town buildings, municipal buildings, of the ones I mentioned that have people who are coming in and not just transactionally, but staying, congregating for long periods of time, to require masks as an abundance of caution as we move into the winter months, since people are indoors more. So we have, so with all those other departments, I think the rec was already requiring them for their programs and their indoor activities, as well as youth and family services. So the COA and the library started December 6th, was that last Monday, have adopted that requirement. And honestly, the difference of is, I think there has been a lot of cases in the middle school age crowd, in elementary, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have exact details, but those are some of the age groups. And, you know, the Friday before the mask mandate, we had over 50 to 60 kids without masks sitting and eating together in the gallery. So, but I will say that since it's been a few days with requiring it, the kids adapted it. They've been great about keeping them on and being really respectful about it. So, and as we say, you know, I know it's frustrating, we know it's disappointing, but, you know, we can just pull together so we can keep being in person and doing our in-person programming and just kind of plow through our third year of COVID, our junior year of COVID, as I told Mary Beth the other day. So they will monitor it. I think this is something that the town will look closely at. You know, I spoke with Chris today, and, you know, he wanted to make sure that I told him that I had emailed all of you and that we were just staying the course, and they will watch the numbers. And so if it goes back down, it will be probably just a recommendation again, as people's comfort level and as people get boosters, hopefully that it's not, the numbers will come back down. So that's where we're at now. So I think it's just taking it on every time the numbers come in basis, unfortunately.
Well, that's entirely consistent with the policy we've adopted throughout the pandemic, which is to follow the town Board of Health and the town's recommendations regarding safety. And we need to do that for the safety of our patrons and obviously for the safety and morale of the staff. So putting the mask requirement back in is entirely consistent with that. Trustee Cole.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, I was across the street at the bank on Wednesday and I saw all the kids. I wanted to know how it's been in the library on short Wednesdays. I was like, oh, I want to go over there. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to. Sorry.
Because
I went to the post office and I went to the post office instead.
It's been chaotic.
Because you said they were respectful of the masks, but have they been respectful with everything else too? Because I know you were not letting them do food and drink.
Yeah, so that was a hard. Yeah, they had a lot of food and drink. That was the hardest thing. And honestly, it's been a little bit peaceful and thankfully we had this weird 50-degree weather, because I don't feel quite as bad as saying, can you just finish your bag of Cheetos outside before you come in? So I think either now they're just eating outside. We have picnic tables out there that they can eat before they come in. But no, they're just chaotic, honestly. My office is right next to them now. So earlier today, there was a group of about 20 of them in the teen room, and I heard a thump, and I waited a second, and I heard another thump, and I walked outside, and they're all standing around a computer, and I was like, oh, okay, no one died. They go, I'm like, it sounded like a body bag just like hit the ground, and they're like, no, we're just playing a game on the computer. I'm like, oh, well, I'm relieved to see that you're all wearing masks and that nobody has fallen down to the ground. So but again, they're respectful when you talk to them and remind them that they're indoors and that they can't play hide and seek in the library, even though they're not running. But as I said, when you address them, we're not getting a lot of backtop. It's just, there's not a place for them to go when they can't be outside. So, but we've done it for many years now. So I think we're pros.
I know. Okay, good.
Any other questions or comments on the COVID-19? So we will just continue to abide by the town's policies. And if that changes, just let us know in terms of the mask requirement.
Okay.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is staffing update.
Yes, we have 2 posted positions for library assistants. One was formerly Caitlin Moore's branch library assistant. That was at 17 hours that we were able to make 24 with the expanded hours, and then an additional 20-hour library assistant position. Both of the positions will hopefully do shifts at both libraries, with the branch one predominantly at the branch. And we had over 39 applicants for the library assistant, the 20-hour position, and 15 for the branch library assistant. So, and some people applied for both. So what we've done is we've just, I think we have about 12 or 13 that we are doing interviews this week and next week. So we're just interviewing them straight through and asking them, you know, is there a particular, you know, we had 3 today, and they're open to either one. So we're going to work our way through that. And it's been good because as we've been doing a lot of transitions with hiring, I feel like I'm doing interviews for years now, but earlier, like last year, it was much harder to get more than 10 people for an interview posting. So to have 40 at least, or 12 to interview is a good sign that we have some people with library experience, a lot of customer service experience. So we're excited to bring some new faces in and kind of flesh out the team.
Well, you may have some candidates by the next meeting, sounds like.
Yes, I hope.
Great. Any questions or comments on that? No, okay, thank you. Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the Wentworth Hall Islington Branch Library update.
Yes, so my the director's report that I sent out has now already been superseded in real time. So originally I had reached out to Tucker, the furniture and shelving company that we've been using, and for an update. And I think December 20th shipping to them was updated to December 23rd, but that was just a ballpark that they had received, I think, a couple weeks before. And I told them to call me immediately if any up to date anytime. And I got a phone call at 4 o'clock on Friday that said that they would hopefully be getting it to their warehouse next week, which is this week. And they would hopefully be able to install it by next week or start. Of course, that's tentative for mail, I assume, shipping, to not have any delays there. And or if the holidays, getting even workers, I don't even know, to install. So I'm trying to not get my hopes up, but it was a lot more concrete than we had been hearing for 3 months, of the idea of just, you know, some parts are coming from a train and some parts here. So we know where the furniture has all been assembled and painted where it needed to be, like the tables and stuff. We do have all the chairs, as I said in the report, and we do have the circulation desk and Claire's desk, but all of the study tables and the actual like seated furniture and the shelving, of course, it looks like it's within the next few weeks we should hopefully have it. I do assume that the holidays we may run into that, but.
So once we have the shelving, that's the last major portion that we're waiting on in terms of being able to get an occupancy permit.
Then it's just busy bees getting in there and putting everything back where it should be on staff. That's why I was going to say running into the holidays, it might be.
Right. So the end of January is feasible.
Oh, absolutely.
For reopening the branch, it sounds like. Maybe even mid-January, but at least by the end of January.
But at least by the end, just with accounting for, as I said, getting staffing.
To get the occupancy permit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as we've said, we don't want to open until we're fully operational. Well, first of all, we need the occupancy permit, but even with the occupancy permit, we want the patrons' experience when they come in is to have a fully functional and operational branch, not something that's still half done. And I think, at least my sense is that that's still the approach the trustees want to take. Am I correct in that?
Yeah.
So we ask the public to be patient. I think everybody understands supply chain issues and trying to get all of this furniture in, but it sounds like it's moving along quicker than we even expected. Yes. Any comments? Trustee Macy Phelps?
Yeah, Lizzie, I don't know if you were going to talk about this now or later, but you had sent a draft message, and I wanted to find out what the plan is for that and what kind of feedback do you need from the trustees?
Yeah, thank you. I'd love some feedback. I think initially I sent a follow-up email this afternoon after talking to Mary Beth a little bit. I had written that as something that I was going to either send out in the wire from the library with my voice as just, and when I went to do it at the time, I didn't have concrete dates. So I was trying to acknowledge people's, how they were feeling with also just being positive. And then when I was rereading the minutes, I realized that it was probably supposed to come from as an update from the trustees. So I sent out a second draft that was a little bit more, it did have the months listed as we're hoping the end of December. I didn't put a specific opening, but I wanted to know if you want something completely different, how you were all feeling about, where you wanted me to, do you want it to be a press release, something that we send out as an e-newsletter, put out on social media. So I think any direction like that, it would be very helpful to me.
I'll open it up for my colleagues to tell me what they think.
I thought,
go ahead.
yeah, I thought your comment, that you put with this, that you weren't using a specific date, but just using the months was probably sound thinking, given how things are. But otherwise, I do think it's a good idea to put something out. The last sentence, we are hoping that all will be installed and ready for their, is it just intonation? For there will be something for everyone. We can't wait to see everybody at the newly renovated Islington branch.
Oh, that was that's definitely a typo when I was editing the other one. Thank you, Maureen. I'm going to highlight it though.
Okay.
This is me dashing it off.
Yeah, you're muted. Oh, we're having a hard time hearing you, trustee.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
I think, Maureen, I meant to take it out and say there'll be something for everyone. I can't wait to see you all. I think I had moved something around. Sorry about that.
So you're going to put a period after ready and get rid of the word for? Is that what you were intending?
I think I meant to intend to write, there'll be something for everyone, exclamation point. Can't wait to see everyone at the newly renovated Islington branch. But I say everyone twice, so.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking we should strike that first part of that sentence. We were hoping let's take that, that whole, and just say, we're looking forward to seeing everyone, kind of make it positive, make it.
Yes.
I have it up right now. I'm gonna edit that.
Short and sweet.
I was just thinking that new year, new branch library kind of, I can picture kind of maybe the headline, kind of just with that excitement, if you will, and as you say, worth the wait, the byline or something worth the wait. And, what was the thing that, hold on. I would prefer, I don't know. I would think in the sentence where you say, although it is disappointing that we are not yet sitting in the new, once again, I think I'd rather just stay positive and just say, we're all really looking forward, to when we can get into the new library or something like that. Turn it around rather than
worth the wait.
Rather than saying it's, it's disappointing or, let's just not put that in people's heads,
Yes.
But otherwise, yeah, that's great.
Okay. Maybe even if you wanted to say that while we recognize that it has been frustrating.
No,
we are looking forward
to that, Maureen. We could say it's hard to wait, but
that's fine.
Shouldn't assume that everybody's been frustrated. Right. No, we're frustrated, and some patrons are frustrated, but
yes,
and they have it. I mean, it's not like they haven't had library services. Right. There's been a fully functioning library for them to use. It's not like when the new library was being built, right? It was that was much harder.
I think
I think if we were in a situation where it was in person, we had people that were before us, complaining, asking, whatever, that then you'd acknowledge it verbally. But
I think that's fine. Yeah.
And Liz, you had asked about, where this belongs. I think the way this is written, it would be fine. It's great. I think it's good for the Westwood Wire.
Okay.
It could be, I don't know if we need to do a press release because we're actually not announcing.
Right. So we should wait.
Coming soon. but it could potentially be a letter to the editor, maybe with a couple of tweaks. You know, instead of, share with you, we're excited to share with, patrons.
With the community.
With the community. Yeah. That it could be a letter to the editor. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, that from the trustees, certainly.
From the trustees, right.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, how do we want to proceed and finalize it? Do you want to have a little subcommittee?
Yeah, maybe just have Lizzie review it with, I don't know, maybe I'm willing to volunteer other people if they.
I don't mind helping Lizzie.
Okay.
I don't mind either.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So
I'll run it
we'll
by
ask,
you.
and then just, share
So
it with these.
Are we going to limit it to the wire and perhaps a letter to the editor, or what about and I may not have the titles right. There are a couple of
the Westwood Minute.
Westwood Minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even do little printouts to have in the library.
Yeah, that's true.
Can someone tell me what the Westwood Minute is?
Westwood Minute is an online news site that is maintained by Doreen Wong. Doreen Wong Cancel, sorry. And she puts out if I can send you the link, Mary Beth, or maybe we could also put it in the minutes, Jess, she puts out like a daily email with Westwood News, basically kind of a one-person news organization.
Wow. Exciting that there's that much news in Westwood. That
I think Dave Adkins used to do something like that too, but this one's called, so is it similar to what Dave Adkins used to do?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because I guess she has people that follow her, but it's not Facebook related. It's just you have to get on her email list.
Get on her email list.
Yeah, it looks like a website. It reminds me of like a one-person Westwood when the Patch was first started, and it was like, so it's not conglomerate, but it reminds me of the Patch.
Okay, so it's just called Westwood One. I can look it up. Because I've never heard of it either, Mary Beth.
Westwood Minute.
Westwood Minute.
Westwood Minute. Sorry, I got it. Sorry, Westwood Minute. Do we want to do it on Patch too? Because Lizzie just mentioned that. I think they're always looking for news stories.
Sure. I
think that, any reputable news outlet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so not on the Facebook links. No.
Oh, I don't see why not.
There's one that's a bulletin board, and then another one is Islington 109. I do know that there have been a number of inquiries on at least one of those sites with questions about, when it's opening and why it isn't yet. So I don't know if that's something that you want to do or not. I would go with the consensus of the group.
Can they pick it up on our Facebook? I mean, can we put it on ours and they can pick it up?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
The library Facebook page. Yes.
One at a time. Yep. Trustee Macy Phelps, did you want to say something?
I was agreeing with what Mary Beth said, Trustee.
All right, so we'll
on
do,
our Facebook.
Our Facebook page, the traditional application problems, and then we'll work towards putting it in the letter to the editor. So let's finalize the communique. And then once it's ready, if you want to just have it available at the library, I mean, I suppose we could, whoever wants to sign it, put their name to it. Is that the best way to do it? I don't want to have a meeting.
No, and we don't want to hold it up. I don't think. Better to get it out, don't you think? Do people agree that it's better to get it out?
Yeah. I mean, Lizzie can send it to everyone, and if everyone agrees, we can just sign it from the library trustees.
Have our names listed.
Trustee Macy Phelps.
Yeah, I'm okay giving my permission now, subject to final editorial.
Yes.
Where they're not changing the meaning, they're just,
No, it's a consensus that we do want to put a letter to the editor. So.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Great.
Anything else on?
Will it just be from the library Board of Library Trustees, or will it have our names?
However. We can put our names. All right.
Let's-
Yes, Trustee Macy Phelps, names. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
Name.
I think so
Good.
too.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
Yep.
Okay,
Officials.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else on the Islington branch? Trustee Ryan, did you want to say something? You're muted.
Can't
You're
hear
muted.
you.
You're muted.
I'm sorry. Now I'm not, right?
Right.
Yes, we can hear you.
I just, I was wondering, Jess, if you could put it in your report. They named so many places to go for news in Westwood. I couldn't keep up with them all. So maybe in your report, you might
Oh,
write
right.
them down.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll check that when the minutes go out as well, that we had all of them. All right, and again, yes.
The hours.
Good idea.
The hours.
For the branch.
Can I
Well,
just
I
go
have-
back?
Trustee Persons?
Here. I was just thinking about that. If someone's reading the letter to the editor and they have any questions, should we direct them to someone? Should we
To-
direct, should we direct
To-
them to
The
us?
library, to Lizzie, no, I think to the library director,
To the director? Okay.
to Lizzie, yeah. Because she'll have the most up-to-date information. Something could change, as we saw with Tucker.
Yeah.
I think that's the
I think
best.
I think that would be considerate of us to provide,
Yep.
a name and a phone number for
Yep.
if you have any
Yeah,
questions.
I think that's I
Yeah.
mean, Lizzie will know.
Yeah, I agree.
But with our names on it, we may be notified as well.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
But I think the best way to get the most accurate and up-to-date information would be to have them speak to the library staff, Claire or Lizzie, because they, like I said, something could change
Yeah.
and Lizzie would know.
Moment.
But we're certainly always happy to answer any questions that any of our patrons or fellow citizens have.
Great.
Did you want to talk about the hours? Is that what you wanted to talk
Yes, I'm
about?
sorry. I almost flew right past it. I was wondering if you all were able to review the schedule proposal versus a 9 to 5 versus a 10 to 6. And as we are going about hiring for the positions, this decision would dictate the set schedule for both the main library staff and for the potential new positions. So I was wondering what the feeling of the board was.
Has everybody had an opportunity to review the proposed?
Yes.
Is that something that I think probably it's something we would have to vote formally to do? That would be my sense.
Yeah, just
Trustee Macy Phelps.
Lizzie, in reading these, I guess I think you're recommending option one.
Yes.
And seems to make sense. I think I thought there were pros and cons to both.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no perfect schedule, and I didn't think they were sufficiently different that it was, worth. Yeah, I think, yep. If you think that one is the way to go for now, let's go with that. Get feedback.
Would you just for the record, would you just tell us what option one is?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So option one was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 10 a.m. open and 6 p.m. close, and then a Wednesday, 10 a.m. open, 8 p.m. close.
Right.
The other option would be to open at 9 a.m. on the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and close at 5 p.m. But on a Wednesday, due to the budgeted of hours that we have, we would have to open at 10 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. So there's a little bit of inconsistency there. And I think when I was reviewing the pros and cons, I started to lean more towards the 10 a.m. open. First, because there's that consistency with the main library and the main library scheduling. This week, we're able to have a 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Staff meeting. And if we had the branch open earlier, then either the branch potentially wouldn't be able to come and that wouldn't, impact closing for a whole morning. So I like that flexibility. And as we talked about, having main library staff schedules now stay the same. So if they're on at 10, let's say, but they could now move over to the branch. So it would just, all these little tweaks that it would create kind of a domino effect. So those were the biggest things that stood out to me.
We also said we wanted to try to be open later for commuters at the Islington for the commuter rail and buses like that too.
Yeah.
So yes, I've started with trustee persons and then I'll go to you, trustee Van Al. Trustee persons?
Yeah, I was trying to think about it in relation to, you know, the patrons' needs, the staff needs, et cetera. And obviously, I was trying to put the patrons' needs first in a way. And so, but, you know, I was thinking in the sense that, well, on 9 a.m. might be better for people because, you know, they get out and about, you know, and the doors can open, but on the other side, it closes earlier. So to me, that kind of balances that out, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think the confusion is a real deal, because I really felt that when the branch was open before, and you know, all the different types of hours. So I think the one thing I would suggest is that if Claire and the assistants at the branch could really keep track in a, you know, in a tick mark or whatever kind of way of people who either ask, you know, could we consider different hours, or complain about it, or whatever, if they don't feel like the access is appropriate, that we actually track it, you know, because that's the only way we'll know.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Mary Beth, 100%.
But otherwise, I support option one.
Trustee Van Al?
I agree with Mary Beth about keeping track, particularly for people, you know, who's coming in at 10, are they wishing they could come earlier, and vice versa on the other end of the day. And I also just wanted to remind ourselves that this is a beginning, and we talked about that with kind of seeing how things go. And I think keeping the fact that I know you've shared some space before over there, or we have, when we were in the Islington, you know, community center area, but this is going to be novel in terms of sharing the space sort of in 3 groups in a different space. So there'll be things to learn from that too, that may impact what hours and days would work best for the community. So to keep a chart, or keep a track of how things are going with that, and how you're interacting with the other spaces in the greater building will be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, as we said, the overall goal is to make the library as available as possible and serve the best particularly for the Islington community. So I think it is something that, you know, we want to try these hours, and if they seem to be the most viable, fine, but we can always adjust, which is why I think I would go along with the idea of keeping some sort of survey or public response, so we know if these are the best hours.
It's definitely something we can incorporate when we start doing surveys and research for a strategic plan. And I know even for the main library, there was a lot of, our hours were so different in the last year coming out of COVID and being closed. So there was inconsistency there. So I know we had, you know, senior hours. And so I think that asking a question and getting maybe some direct feedback for both the main and the branch would be helpful.
Okay, so I'll accept the motion to go with option one, and then just have it said again so that any public knows what those are. So would you again tell us what option one would entail for hours, Lizzie?
Option one is Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay, I will, I'll accept the motion to adopt those as the hours for the Islington Branch Library for the present time.
I'll make a motion.
It's moved by Trustee Ryan, seconded by Trustee Persons. I will call the roll. Trustee Macy Phelps. Trustee Ben Au.
Aye.
Trustee Cole.
Aye.
Trustee Persons.
Aye.
Trustee Ryan. Is that an aye?
Aye.
Aye. And we didn't hear your vote, Trustee Macy Phelps, because you were muted. I see your hand up, but if you could just tell us.
You're on mute.
Could you just tell us without it muted?
Aye.
Thank you. And the chair also votes aye. It's unanimously adopted. So those will be the hours for the present time for the new Islington branch. And we will continue to monitor and make sure that we have a schedule of hours that's the most optimal for our patrons and fellow townspeople.
Great,
anything else further on Islington, Wentworth Hall?
No.
No. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is an update on the strategic plan, and whoever from the subcommittee or Lizzie would like to go first.
I can give it a little rundown. We're still in the research phase, which we'll be in going into January. So the strategy team, which is made up of the department heads and myself, have been meeting since regularly since November. We did a SWOT analysis. We've identified potential research activities, the one-on-ones that CC has been doing with the board and other town representatives. So with Danielle from Youth Family Services, she's going to connect with Joan Courtney Murray from town. And then I think she had some other suggestions, some great feedback from speaking to the trustees too. So she's got a lot of great information to start with. And on Wednesday of this week, we're at 9 a.m. staff meeting. We're having a town hall meeting where we're going to introduce what we've been working on and how basically the research activities and the key strategic questions that we've come up with so far, and how the larger staff can get involved and sign up for, whether they want to do, one of them is, I forget what she calls it, but even having like a poster board in the library with Post-its, and people can answer questions and start to, so it can be interactive display, but also we're getting some feedback, as well as crafting, digital surveys and things like that. So we're kind of, after the meeting this week, it's probably going to tamp down for a few weeks during the holidays. And then in January, we'll be ready to do the more formalized research gathering. But it's there's definitely a lot of different activities we could do and a lot of questions we could answer. But this is still the fun stage where you're just throwing out big ideas and thinking large and sharing articles with each other. And really getting to think about library services and what libraries mean to communities, and then bringing that back down to, okay, well, what about Westwood and how do we fit in here and what we want to do in the next few years? So I think it's an exciting time, and it's been really great for the department heads to be meeting together regularly for something like this, and not just operational, and getting to kind of stretch our brains and things. So we've been having a lot of great conversations around libraries, and it's been, as I said, great to hear Connie's feedback from the one-on-ones from the trustees and other members of the town. So we're going to be doing some more research gathering in January. That's where we're at. I don't know if Mary or Maureen want to add anything.
No, and it's been in your court this month, pretty much. So.
I know we've all had an opportunity to speak with the consultant. Yeah. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Trustee Cole.
I just had one question. When I was reading this, it said something about, and I probably should know the answer to this, but what is SWOT?
Oh, SWOT. Okay. That is, oh my goodness.
Oh, good. You have to look it up.
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Because I was like, it's not a SMART goal. What is this? I've never heard of this.
And I was
strength.
Sorry, say it again.
Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and the T is threats.
So the strength is you're looking at yourself and ways that you might improve or things you could take advantage of, and then opportunities and threats are things from the outside. What do you see outside the library that's an opportunity to capitalize on, or that you need to be prepared to deal with?
Yes.
Great, because I was like, SWOT. I'm like, I've heard of SMART goals, but what is this SWOT? So thank you very much.
No, I can't believe I drew a blank. We just did it the last couple of weeks over and over again. And then there's another one that another library is doing that's floating around. It's called a CAR method. And that's like keep, acquire, renew, remove. So that's more for like materials or programs, but I'm like, acronyms are all over the place.
Any further questions? Yes, Trustee.
And I assume you'll be,
go ahead, Trustee Cole.
I just want to say, I assume you'll be done with your meeting by 10 a.m.
Yes, we will. Hopefully we'll be shorter than that, but yes, we'll be open as normal on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mary Beth, all you.
Trustee Persons.
Have you found so far that there's a lot of commonality and, in any of the discussions, or is there, any similar themes kind of, you don't have to discuss them now, but I mean, I'm just curious.
I think everyone's threats are the same, and it's mostly, the the pandemic and a shifting of priorities and budgets and that kind of overarching thing. But yeah, I think before the pandemic and going, you know, we have these buckets of areas of whether it's programming and materials management that we were already discussing of, oh, wow, that we tend to do this trend and this trend. And I was looking, Mary Beth, at the email or the article that you sent out about, you know, those E's and those big buckets. And it was very similar to where I started to recognize a trend in what patrons really respond to. And so now that we have the time and space to look at it, like take a step back and look like, oh, this is the programs we do and services we offer that really help small businesses. And whether that's providing space in the library, a program, notary, all of these things that we do that help this. And then you have these really engaging how-to programs and creative programs and that space for the creative. So you start to see things that we're doing all at once, and then how can we now like hone in on them? So that's been really, that's been really interesting to reflect on, but it came at us because we weren't hyper analyzing. We're looking wide at what's happening all around. And then I look back at what we do and what we do really well and what we'd want to keep doing. And that's what's been, okay, we have these, we can do this all. It's not everything. We can see what we're doing and what the community wants from us and then go from there. So I think that's been really great that we're all kind of discovering that as we go through.
Okay. Any further comments or questions on the strategic plan? Again, thank you, Lizzie. Thank you, Trustee Macy Phelps and Trustee Van Al for all your work on this. And it's every meeting we'll be talking about it. The next item on the agenda is the update from the Friends of the Westwood Public Library. Trustee Ryan, Trustee Van Al, anything you want to tell us about our very loyal and helpful friends?
Well, we both attended the meeting, as did Lizzie, and it was a very productive meeting for their group. I think it was very interesting to me. They're really continuing to evolve and change. They've had a lot of change in board members, and they are really sort of fine-tuning some of the things and making changes that are, you know, helpful to them as a group. One of which is to really restructure the board. And some of that has to do with responsibilities and procedures and so forth. They seem to have some new people in that have excellent skills around marketing and financials and so forth. So I think it's going to work well for them. And you know, they, in particular, they were addressing some of the time that it takes to do their biggest fundraiser with the book sales. And it just seemed to fall on, you know, particular people. Felicity, for example, who just, you know, was a one-woman powerhouse in terms of the book sale, and who has retired from the board. But I think they're looking at different things and restructuring some things.
Right.
So I think it will be great. Didn't want to steal all the thunder, Maria. You may have some other
Trustee
things to
Ryan,
add.
anything you want to add? You have to unmute.
Sorry. Well, everything that Maureen said, and I like the way that they were restructuring, don't you think, Maureen? Because they were kind of delegating more responsibility across the board for help in different areas. And it was also interesting the way they want to expand the fundraising. They'd like to get more people or companies or donors involved so that they can raise more money for, say, for the
museum passes.
Yes, the museum passes. That was kind of a big deal. And I think they had some really good ideas about how to go about that. You know, they're a very hardworking group, very, you know, I think they're very, very well spoken. New treasurer, Mara, they all seem to be very vested in their roles. So I thought it was a very interesting and productive meeting.
Thank you. Well,
and
yes, Trustee Persons.
Sorry.
Trustee Persons.
Can't hear you.
Muted.
Could you tell me the new treasurer's name?
Mara?
Mara, let me hang on a minute, see if I wrote her last name down too. I have the contact list. I can let
It's
you know.
Mara Trider.
Trider, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Trider.
What's her last name?
Trider,
Trider.
Tryder.
Right.
Yeah, if you could send me her contact information, Maureen.
Sure.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I think that the museum pass, they're running into the same thing that so many groups are. There was a lot of change with that over the past 18 months to 2 years because the museums weren't open and so forth and so on. So they're trying to sort of reorganize around that, and they have someone in charge of doing that has some different ideas. So it should be interesting, but I'll let you know that contact information, Mary Beth, and they'd be happy to have anybody reach out to them. Thank you.
They approved a lot of winter requests for the library for adults and teens and general programming. So they're very generous.
As always,
7,000 plus.
Yeah, we're so fortunate to have a group like the Friends who do so much for us in terms of our programming, and so
actually $7,681. So that was indeed very generous.
Yes.
Any further questions or comments? Thank you, Trustee Ryan. Thank you, Trustee Van Au. The next item on the agenda is an update from the 21st Century Fund. Trustee Macy Phelps.
Yeah, the fund has not met since the last meeting. Our next meeting will be in January, but we did, thanks to Mary Beth, we did get our mailer out to several hundred residents in November, and so far, the returns have been, I think, quite positive. Mary Beth, you'd say, from the fundraiser. We'll know more after we meet and report to the board in January. So we'll have more of a figure in January.
But as always, we do appreciate all donations and would love the support of the board.
Yep. Anything further? Any questions? Okay. The next item on the agenda is the approval of acceptances and expenditures as detailed in the report, which was provided to the Board of Trustees. Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion to approve the report of acceptances and expenditures and authorize the chairman to duly execute said report. Is there a motion made by Trustee Macy Phelps, second by Trustee Ryan? Call the roll. Trustee Macy Phelps.
Aye.
Trustee Van Au.
Aye.
Trustee Cole.
Aye.
Trustee Ryan.
Aye.
Trustee Persons.
Aye.
And the chair also votes aye, unanimously approved. And I will look forward to the yellow folder, which I will come in and sign.
Thank you.
It's always my chance to catch up with some of the librarians. So I enjoy giving it that. Any new business? Trustee Persons.
I don't see where I could do it on anywhere else on the agenda. So this is following up on old business. Can I have a question?
Sure.
It was last month when we spoke about Sunday, January 2nd, and we approved, the day off, but subject to the approval of the Personnel Board. Did that happen?
Yes, that happened. And the biggest thing that they were having to approve was the Fridays okay, let me get this right. If a holiday lands on a Saturday, they get off recognize it Fridays. And that's what the big thing was. And then the Sundays, nothing else is open. So I had addressed that. No other municipal building in town is open Sundays. So that was at the discretion of the trustees. So the Fridays, which I think we're in yes, we were in last year's approval, were officially went through as being closed on the day before the holiday because it fell on a Saturday.
Oh, Christmas Eve. So for Christmas Eve.
Yeah, so Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve are both closed because the holidays fall on a Saturday. Okay. And that's what the Personnel Board has to officially approve because it doesn't actually say that in the personnel policy, is my understanding. If the holiday falls on a Sunday, the state of Massachusetts, you take the Monday. Trustee
Persons, did you? And then I'll recognize Trustee Mason.
No, I guess I'm still confused about the Sunday. So the Sunday we have the authority to tell people that they can have the day off, but obviously they don't get paid.
Yeah.
They don't get paid.
They don't get paid because it's only full-time people can't work Sundays.
Okay.
So it's only part-timers. Yes. And because no other building is open, it's like we're only open on Sundays, September, Labor Day to Memorial Day to May. So.
Okay. I'm with you.
The Friday was the bigger, I think, deal.
Trustee Macy Phelps.
Yeah, I just want to raise it. One thing you might want to just confirm, Lizzie, because, and it only came to mind because of the way it's being handled where I work, which is that right, you're spot on about the Saturday holiday being recognized on the Friday.
Right.
However, you might want to confirm because the holiday, when the holiday is New Year's,
okay,
the first day of the year is the holiday. If you recognize it the day before, that's happening in the prior
year.
Yeah.
And because these are benefits related, I know at my company, what they're doing, at least in the United States, is that they're letting you take, a floating holiday during the first quarter. And I think that's because they can't add that extra day in this year because it's next year's holiday. So you might just want to clarify, make sure.
Okay. I think I'll double check the email. I think she did send it out for both, but I will look into that. Okay.
Thank you. Any further new business?
Just one question.
Yes,
So,
Trustee Van.
Anticipating in January that we're going to talk more about the policy, and okay, so that will be on the agenda in January.
Yes, it will. Yep.
Okay.
I assume it'll be a big part of our meeting that night.
Sounds good.
But Lizzie just wanted to send it out so that we would have an opportunity to look at it for the next meeting, but it will certainly be on the agenda. Any additional new business? Trustee Persons?
The article that I did send out to you folks was in a description actually of a course or an afternoon kind of a session that's being offered by United for Libraries, and it's for trustees, but it's tomorrow afternoon. Now, we don't belong to United for Libraries, and in order to register, you have to be a member. So I wasn't sure, but I didn't know. And the title of the course was something like what to do when potential members or of your board, don't appreciate the kind of like the values, or don't basically subscribe to the values of the library values, or the library Bill of Rights, or it reminded me a lot of that. What are we doing with the more polarized society kind of a thing. So I didn't know if anyone had, if anybody really wanted to attend, or if just, maybe starting out here as a place, but maybe we could always get some maybe kind of a recap of it or something like that. But I wasn't sure if you thought it was really important that someone did listen into that, or,
I mean, if some trustees wish to, Lizzie, do you want to?
I don't know how much. The problem is I couldn't find out because, to register first, and then
you have to be a member of United for Libraries, or not through ALA. Through ALA.
Oh, probably through ALA. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you find that out, certainly you can let us know.
But I don't know if, I didn't know how much it was and everything else. So
yeah.
But I was like, oh, that's interesting. And actually what was interesting is that all the people who are going to be on the board, they sound like they really have a big background in this. So I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So we might even be able to kind of like Google them and see pieces that they've written about it and stuff. It might help us, kind of
navigate.
If we need more information about those kinds of things in the future when we're thinking about these subjects.
Yes.
It may even be Zoom, and they might record it and we could maybe see it later.
Yeah.
It looks like oh no, that's a different one. It depends. Is it? I'm trying to look it up. They have a lot of different webinars, and they're all different prices.
Well, could you just look into it, and if it is available,
sure.
Certainly that information to the trustees. Any other new business? No. Okay, before we close the meeting, we always invite public participation, and we invite members of the public who wish to comment to log in on the Zoom and make themselves known to us. And we're happy to listen to any comments and questions if we can answer them. We will attempt to do so. Are there any members of the public attending tonight?
No.
No. Okay. Well, we do always welcome and encourage members of the public to come and talk to the trustees and get information and suggestions and comments. Seeing no public participation, the chair will accept the motion to adjourn.
Oh. I have a quick question.
Yes.
For the next meeting, I'm so sorry. For the next meeting, you put the address down as we're meeting. Are we meeting at the library in person, or was that just?
I think it's always on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
no, okay. I was just making sure. I'm like, why does it always say the address at the library? Thank you.
Before we move to in-person meetings, we will raise that with the full board of trustees and make sure that everybody's, but yeah, because the broadcast is the Zoom call generates from the.
Absolutely. I was just making sure.
It will be remote.
Okay.
And we won't go to non-remote until everybody is aware of that. And so.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Happy to answer that question. I'll accept the motion to adjourn. Made by Trustee Macy Phelps, seconded by Trustee Ryan. Call the roll. Trustee Macy Phelps.
Aye.
Trustee Van Au.
Aye.
Trustee Cole.
Aye.
Trustee Ryan.
Aye.
Trustee Persons.
Aye.
And the chair also votes in the affirmative. It's unanimously approved. We will adjourn until Monday, January 10th at 7 p.m.
Fantastic.
Thank you all.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
You too.